All right. So today we're going to talk about bottlenecks. The real reason why you might be stuck. I'm not saying you're stuck, but that you might be stuck and how to fix it. So the goal of this training is to help you pinpoint exactly what's slowing your growth right now and essentially what to do next. And I think that this is a really good time of year to do a training like this. Um, I think that this is also something that you may want to watch more than once. So every real estate business hits ceilings. Sometimes it's not the market. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it really is just like something in the business, or sometimes it's like the way that you're approaching something. So I'm going to just define when I say bottleneck, what I mean. The bottleneck in your business is the constraint that limits your growth no matter how much harder you work. So, for example, examples of bottlenecks could be like you've got tons of leads, but no systems to follow up. You're doing deals, but you're not making profit. You have income, but you have zero time. If you've been stuck at the same income or the same level for more than like 6 to 8 months, chances are you've got a bottleneck. So, quick question. I want you to like think about or even type in the chat, what's your biggest frustration right now? Right? So that frustration, whatever it is that you're feeling frustrated about right now, is a symptom. And then we need to actually move backwards and trace it to the cause. So what would you say right now is the biggest frustration that you're having? Um, leads. Okay. Okay, cool. So we're all kind of stemming. It looks like we're all kind of stemming back to the same section. So I'm going to go through this as like four levers of growth. Now, if you have gone to one of my events or you've done the 6 lever audit, I would have you more lean on that. But for today, I'm going to give you just a really simple diagnostic model, right? Every business problem lives inside of one of these 4 levers: traffic, conversion, delivery, and leadership, for lack of a better way of saying it, right? So traffic is, do enough people know who you are because you have good visibility. Conversion is, do enough people choose you? That is an element of trust. Delivery is, can you deliver consistently without chaos, which we're going to call capacity. And then the leadership piece, can you grow without being the bottleneck, without you as a person being the bottleneck? And then the goal for that or the solve for that is leverage. So I'm going to give you just 2 minutes and have you rate. So actually, we'll just do this. We'll do this ongoing. So rate yourself 1 to 5, 1 being weak, 5 being strong, 1 being totally broken, 5 being running like clockwork, right? So traffic. Give yourself a number from 1 to 5. Do enough people know who you are? Do you have enough visibility? So give yourself a 1 to 5. And then conversion. Do the same thing. Do enough people choose you? Right? So then give yourself a 1 to 5. Delivery. The way that I like to think about delivery is, if I drop 50 clients on your head right now, can you deliver without chaos? Right? Because if you have 2 clients at a time, of course you can deliver. But again, like, have you built enough capacity in your business to be able to actually have your marketing work? And then leadership, can you grow, or do you have enough leverage, or are you prepared even to create leverage so that you're not the bottleneck? Give yourself a score out of 1 to 5. So now we're going to actually go through and prove where the issue actually is. So if the symptom, or if you believe that the symptom is I need more leads, right? Checkpoints. Are you generating, 3 to 5 inbound appointments per week? Do at least 70% of the leads that you do have coming to you know who you are and like feel enough, like, are they inbound, or are they how cold really are they? Is your content consistent, niche specific, and value based? If you answered mostly no, your bottleneck is going to be visibility and messaging. And it's that it just becomes very, very easy. Like if you genuinely do not have enough business right now, then your bottleneck is visibility and messaging. Right. And so write down your the top three places that you're getting business or you're getting essentially a lead source right now. Circle the one that produces most of your leads and ask yourself, if that source disappeared tomorrow, what would happen to my business? So if the answer is panic, then that's your bottleneck. It's going to be visibility and messaging, and um, that becomes very, very easy. So traffic becomes your biggest issue. So if you're in the listings lab and you haven't finished it, that's the solve. That's your solution. Is go through the listings lab, finish the listings lab, get yourself to a point where you have business coming in consistently from your digital sources. The next option is conversion. So I have conversations, but I'm not converting enough of those conversations into clients. What I would ask is, do you track every inquiry to appointment to signed ratios? Like, how are you, like, is your tracking really good? Do you have a nurture system that touches every, like, that runs without you? And is that nurture system truly built on psychology? And then even after that, from a sales standpoint, is your listing or buyer consultation, is it just like the default that your brokerage gave you, or is it scripted with emotion and logic and value? Like, is it really, really built to build a tremendous amount of emotional connection and trust? If you answered no to most of those questions, then your bottleneck is trust and follow up or nurture. So what I'd love you to do is write down the last 5 leads that you got. How did they find you? How many times did you follow up, or did your system follow up? Did they convert? Why or why not? Because it could that I mean, a lot of the time with the systems part of things, it's a systems issue. So the questions were, let me go back. I have all of my notes here. Do you track inquiry to appointment to signed ratios? Do you have a nurture system that runs essentially without you in multiple areas? And then is your listing consult or your buyer consult scripted with both emotional and logical value? And then for the action items for that one, it's how did they find you? How many times did you follow up? Did they convert? Why or why not? You guys clear on that one? Okay. So for the next one is delivery. So if the symptom of this is I feel maxed out or I'm missing details, I'm dropping balls, right? So the checkpoints or the questions that you ask yourself for this one is, do clients get a consistent experience every time? Are there checklists, templates, or automations in place? Could someone else step in and understand your process fully right now? If you answered mostly no to those, then your bottleneck is systems. And then the action item for this is you have to map out your process from offer to, like, you have from like, not even from offer to closing to testimonial. It's really like you've got to map out your system from like someone finds you, initial conversation, what happens from there. And then you need to highlight everything that's in your business right now that depends entirely on you manually doing something. Because then all of those things are going to become a bottleneck and you're actually not set up for your marketing to work. Because if your marketing works, your delivery falls apart. And then last option is leadership. So can I grow without working more? So these are the questions for this. Do you have clear performance indicators, key performance indicators? For if you're solo, even just for yourself, do you know what success looks like? Do you protect 2 to 3 hours per week for strategy and like business and working on the business? Do you trust other people to make decisions without you? If you answered mostly no to those questions, your bottleneck could be control and delegation. So really at the end of the day, leverage. So you can write down 3 tasks that you do every week that someone else could handle. Circle the one that you'd feel most relief to give away, and that would be like kind of a first step to to like start filling that leverage gap. So the most important thing here is that you're not trying to solve multi, because I'm sure that as I went through that, you're like, okay, well, I actually have holes in all four areas, which is fine. We need to solve one at a time. So I want you to look back at the scores you gave yourself from traffic, conversion, delivery, and leadership. Circle your lowest one. Then under that one, answer these questions. What specific process or behavior causes friction for you every day? Like, why are you not doing the things? Is it that you don't have the information or the guidance? You don't have the strategy? Is it that you haven't blocked off time? Is it that, it's a skill thing that you need to keep working on that skill? So, what would instantly get easier if that one thing was fixed? So, for example, if I had 5 inbound listing conversations a week, I could stop chasing. Or if I closed at 50% my conversations instead of 20%, I double my income with the same effort. Or, if I had automations or an assistant, I could handle twice the volume of business that I currently have. Or if my team operated without me daily, I could scale, right? That's the leadership bottleneck. So your next level of business is on the other side of solving that one constraint. So simple plan. We need to just move from awareness to action. Name your bottleneck. Choose one quick win to start this week, right? If you are here and traffic is your biggest issue, do you have the right guidance? Whether it's us or whether it's, another company. Do you have the right guidance? Are you in the right program? Do you have the right help? Because the thing with traffic is that none of us are born naturally able to generate traffic. Nobody came out of the womb being like, oh, I'm good with traffic, right? So that's the thing that, like, for most of us, we've got to learn it from somewhere. And so do you have the ability, like, do you have that system or that person or that program or whatever to learn it from there? If conversion is your issue, right? I would start to look at, like, what sales skills are you missing? What market research do you need to do, or what information do you need to have in order to convert those people at a higher rate? Um, Delivery, like, if delivery is your biggest issue, then you need to build systems. And if systems don't come naturally to you, then figure out or find somewhere that you can essentially, like, learn how to build those systems. Because here's the thing, is that there's so many people who are going to try to sell you, like, drag and drop systems. And we do too. Like, we have drag and drop systems, but they have to be customized. And if the customization isn't there, they're never going to work, and you're never going to stick with them. Because at the end of the day, the way that I do something in my market is not going to be exactly the same way that you do something in your market. So again, the delivery needs to be, like, from start to finish, every single area of your business. How could you systematize it so that someone else could do it without you, and do it to the same standard? And then with the leadership, it's just, how can you start just delegating one reoccurring task? Just get one thing off your plate, right? And then you start measuring that target for 30 days. So every bottleneck, every single one of these things starts as a belief before it becomes a system problem, right? So if you have a delivery issue, the belief is no one can do it like I can. If it's a conversion issue, it's I just need more leads. If it's a leadership issue, it's I don't have time to train someone, right? The goal isn't to never have bottlenecks, it's to find them and solve them faster. That is essentially, if I was going to say as a business owner, that is your one job. Find the bottleneck, solve it faster. You don't scale by working harder, you scale by removing what's in the way. And so if I'm going to give you something to take away, I would love you to just like write down, not right now, but like when you have time later, my current bottleneck is, and this week I'm fixing it by. Because all of those things, if you, the worst part of all of this is knowing the bottleneck and then talking yourself out of how to fix it. So what does that look like? If traffic is your issue, please please God, have a phone call with us. Whether you end up working with us or not, like if traffic is your thing right now, like that is what we do. We solve traffic. And so what I would suggest is make sure that you are at least taking action and moving towards trying to solve that issue. So at the end of this, again, I want you to write in the chat, what's your bottleneck right now after the conversation? Okay. Conversion, Melanie. Okay. So Scott, if that's making the time, what is that? What is that out of the list that we went through today? Okay. So with a lot of this, I'm seeing a lot of traffics. So because there's so many people with traffic, yep, you guys, Sherry's actively solving it. Okay, Shane, yes, all are going to need improvement, but what is the number one thing? You have to leave with one thing. The number one thing that you have to solve first. Because again, if you say, I have to work on all of these things, the very first thing that's going to happen is overwhelm. It has to be one thing. Every business has only one constraint, even if that constraint only makes this much room. Right? So like even if you solve that first constraint and you make this much room, then you'll hit the next constraint. But it's never four constraints in a row. Tina, you're trying to do a million things at the same time. And I think that that's why. The overwhelm comes from lack of focus, always. So like what's the one thing? And then everything else stops mattering until you solve the one thing. And I'm the same way. Like it's very easy for me to be like, okay, here's 10 things that we need to work on. But then the conversation that Carolee and I have is what's the one thing? What's the one thing that we have to fix that is like essentially like the ceiling right now? We solve that thing and then we hit the next ceiling. And then we solve that thing and then we hit the next ceiling. That's essentially what being a business owner is. It's just constantly moving the ceiling. You have to, yeah, exactly. Carolee says you've got to block out the shiny objects, right? My friend Jennifer Hootie always says, um, is it the thing that you need to be focused on, or is it a seductive distraction? Because sometimes distractions feel really sexy because they keep us from looking at the thing that's hard. Okay, so for every single person who doesn't have a solution right now and is not and who said traffic. So if you don't have a solution in place that you're working on right now and you said traffic, I'm going to drop a link to book a 15-minute call. I very rarely will do something like this, but so many people said the same thing that I think that that is honestly the responsible thing to do so that you at least can have a conversation and get some of that clarity based on what could be, I'm not saying necessarily is, but what could be a next step for going into next year, right? So we're like, no, we're November 13th. For most people, people are going to shut down in a month. So what can you do in the next month to really, really set yourself up to set yourself up so that you're starting 2026 not only with a plan, but also knowing that you're solving that constraint, or you're working on solving that constraint this year so that you're not starting 2026 with that constraint. Um, yeah, if you are currently in a program, please, please, please just like get in touch with your mentor if you've gotten stalled. Um, but but yeah. So I dropped the link above to book a call with Sharon, and then Sharon will point you in the right direction, whether it's with us or whether it's not. Because we're not a fit for everybody. Um, but I think that having that clarity, right? You can't make decisions if you don't know what the constraint is. You can't decide what it is that you're going to work on without the constraint. Um, yeah, Mike, absolutely. I'm gonna you can watch it 1,000 times. Once this renders, we will put it on I'm gonna put it on my YouTube channel. Um, Manuel, just send us an email. Yeah, or yeah, pop in there, pop into school, and we can help you. Amazing. Someone just booked their call. Perfect. So what I'm gonna do is, Frank, no, you're in a program. You can't book that call. Frank, unbook your call. Um, okay, so what I'm gonna have you guys do if you want to watch this again, it should be on my YouTube channel by the end of the day. All you need to do is go on YouTube and search my name, and it will be there. So just give us a little bit of time for it to render. And I think, yeah, I think that watching this call again is probably not a bad idea. Um, cool. That's all I've got for you. I hope this was helpful. I hope you figured out what your constraint is and that it didn't take a long time. Um, go forth and solve your constraint. And if you need help or you need anything, send me an email. Amazing. Bye.